Hello Internet, my name is the Golden Stalfos, and today I'm starting a retrospective critical analysis of the Pendragon books by DJ McHale. This is going to be somewhat similar to my review of The Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini, where I take what should be a 1 or 2 hour video essay and turn it into a bunch of 10-minute videos because I can't really make videos that are substantially longer than 10 minutes without feeling like a giant asshole. And also just because I don't script things, so there's not actually an essay, so calling it a video essay would be a lie. But before we get into the video, I want to shout out Patricia. Thank you for watching. Hope you're having a great day. Are those new earrings? They look really nice. And if your name isn't Patricia, then subscribe. Maybe I'll say your name next time. You never know. So before I can get started on critical analysis, I feel like I have to kind of sell you on the Pendragon books because they are criminally underrated. They are some of the best books I've ever read and never heard anyone talk about them. So I'm going to do that first. So the Pendragon books are a series of 10 YA novels about a young boy named Bobby Pendragon, who is a traveler. Travelers are special people who can use mystical portals called flumes to travel the universe and stop the different worlds from becoming corrupted by evil. Each of the different territories has its own designated traveler, and when they get to adulthood, they die tragically and pass the mantle off to a teenager. I mean, I don't think that's an actual rule of the universe, but that just kind of seems to be how it goes. Anyway, this is one of those series that I always kind of expected to have become a big thing. In the wake of Harry Potter, I expected this to be one of the things that tried to be like it and make movies. Not because it has anything in common with Harry Potter. I mean, they're in a similar genre, and they both feature an ordinary-ish young boy being thrown into extraordinary circumstances and such. But beyond that, I mean, there's not a whole lot in common. Travelers don't go to a designated school. They travel to a different place where shit is all fucked up and different every time. Every traveler has friends that they leave behind on their home planet who take messages from them and keep their journals, basically. And the framing device within the book is that we read Bobby's journal every time he sends it to Mark. Mark is Bobby's friend on Earth, obviously. Mark also quickly involves Courtney Chetwynd, Bobby's love interest for at least part of the series. And at a certain point, Mark's bully, Andy, gets involved. Basically, throughout the books, you bounce back and forth between the drama happening on Earth with Mark and Courtney trying to navigate high school and, it starts as junior high and then goes to high school, and them reading the fantastical stories of what's happening to Bobby on other territories. The books are a little bit high concept for their intended demographic of 14, and so they tend to over-explain some of the high concept stuff, but if you can get past that, it's pretty fun most of the time. McHale has a really good insight into the mind of teenagers and what they would write like and what they would describe their experiences like. And so when I was reading this as a teenager, everything about it sounded very in sync with the way things felt in my head. And now listening to it as an adult, it's cringe as fuck. Oh my God, 14-year-olds they all need to be punched in the face. I don't mean that. I'm not serious. But oh man, how do we survive adolescence? We are the cringiest losers on earth for 4 straight years. The first book opens with an account of how Bobby finally got a kiss from Courtney because, life has to be really good before you get thrown into chaos. And listening to a 14-year-old describe how he got his first kiss from a crush, oh my God, it's so cringe. It's so cringe. I can't even... it's exactly what a 14-year-old would say to describe that, but it's that's why it's so cringe. Oh my God. And it's 10 times worse in the audiobook because the voice actor they got, he does a really good job of doing a 14-year-old teenager's voice for the boy characters. But, oh man, it is hard to listen to someone read that. It's one thing to see something embarrassing written down and like skim over it. And it's another thing entirely to have to listen to a grown adult man putting on a 14-year-old's voice and reading out this cringe. It's beautiful. Can't recommend it enough. Although I will say, if you have the option to read the physical copy or do the audiobook, I would recommend reading the physical copy, at least for the first couple of books. The voice actor does like change his voices as the characters age, but oh man, he can't really do a convincing female voice. And so like when he does Courtney's voice, he's just like gets as high pitched as he possibly can, but he can't get high pitched enough, so he just like ends up kind of whispering, and it's like a squeaky whisper is not what a 14-year-old girl sounds like. You tried really hard, but like they probably should have just gotten a woman to read those parts. I mean, most of the voices are fine, and like Bobby's voice is a little bit higher pitched than I would like to listen to, but you get used to it, so like, yeah, it's whatever. I suppose before I go on, I should kind of explain the high concept thing. So, in the world of Pendragon, the travelers aren't necessarily traveling to different dimensions, so much as they are like moving through space and time within a dimension to like a specific point on a specific planet at a specific time. So, for example, there are 3 territories for Earth. There's Earth 1, Earth 2, and Earth 3. Earth 1, during the course of these books, is set in like 1914 or something. I forget exactly when, but I know that Hindenburg is a plot point. And I'm pretty sure that's before World War II, but after World War I, if I'm not completely insane. And then Earth 2 is like the Bush era, because that's when these books were written. And then Earth 3 is like the year 3000 or whatever, like super future. The first place they go is Denderon, a planet with 3 suns that appears to be about the level of technology of pre-industrial Europe. They have metal tools and they can do mines and shit, but they don't have engines or railways or anything. Like they can get running water inside, but you still have to hand pump it, you know? Of course, only the rich people have running water inside, and everyone else has to shit in a hole in the floor, but you know. And then, you know, later they visit a planet where SAO is real and everyone lives in total immersion VR chambers full time because nobody wants to do anything in the real world. I'm sorry if you can hear like a weird background noise. Apparently now is the time that they are power washing outside, which I guess means I have to wrap this up. Anyway, point is that each territory they visit is different and unique and fantastic in its own way, but they're not necessarily traveling the multiverse. I mean, it's never explicitly stated that they aren't in a multiverse scenario, but anyway, the 10 territories collectively make up Hala, or however you pronounce it, and there's this evil guy named Saint Dane. Terrible villain name. Come on, branding, people. Branding. Like, you gotta come up with something that competes with Voldemort and Galbatorix. You can't just be Saint Dane. Like, it sounds like a fucking dog. Actually, to be honest, I think that's part of the reason why these books haven't, like, taken off. Like, when you hear Pendragon, you think of King Arthur, and so that's not great marketing there. Or, like, the symbol that marks where the flumes are is just a star. Like, it's not anything unique that they can trademark and merchandise and stuff. So, like, as a result, I feel like that's probably why this series didn't get enough recognition, is because it wasn't very marketable, even though it's incredibly good. But anyway, yeah, this evil bad guy is always trying to stop them and trying to turn the world to darkness wherever they go. And sometimes he succeeds even. And the travelers don't have, like, superpowers or anything. They're the only ones who get to travel the flumes. But beyond that, they don't really have any unique abilities. Like, they might be a little bit stronger and faster than the average person, but not by a huge amount. Like, Bobby spends his entire life leading up to becoming a traveler, doing all these kinds of training things. You know, he goes to karate and he goes to Boy Scouts and he plays basketball and all of these things that, like, he doesn't think of as training, but they secretly are. And then throughout the entire story, until he's like 18, he does train extensively in life or death scenarios on other planets and shit. And then by the end of the story, he would not be able to win a single event at the Olympics. Like, he's good, right? He's better than the average person of his age, but he's not like an unparalleled physical talent, you know? And so oftentimes the travelers have to get by on blind luck more than anything else, or just being clever. In any case, it's a really fun series. I can't recommend reading it enough. I will be talking about it more in future videos, so look forward to that. And thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next life. Laters. Hey, Endcard here. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Like, seriously though, please subscribe. I have like no subscribers. It's sad. If you want to find me on other social media stuff, you can do that at the Golden Stalfos on basically everything. Links to that are in the description, as well as to some charities I like but am obviously not affiliated with. I also have a Patreon if you like me so much that you want to give me money, though obviously only do that if you have money to burn, and if you do have money to burn, they're the charities I mentioned before. They probably need it more than I do. Mad ups to my girlfriend for doing all the editing for these videos. It's a really big help. Oh, and I occasionally stream on Twitch, so follow me there so you don't miss it. I don't have a formal schedule because when I tried to have a formal schedule, I couldn't keep to it. So, oh well. Okay, thanks. Bye.